Hi, 7th graders. Today, I want to introduce you to our brand new unit, and it is called Facing Injustice. Have you ever heard these words? Discrimination, segregation, oppression, genocide, injustice? Well, these are words that represent big and usually negative ideas. But do we really know what they mean and the impact that they have on people in their lives? So like I said, this unit is called Facing Injustice, and it will allow you to learn about injustice based on those who experienced it in real life situations. So, let's start with the basic definition. Injustice is a system of unfair practices, usually by a group in power, targeting a particular group of people, usually those not in power. The unfair treatment occurs over long periods of time. It is usually intentional, which means that the group in power intends to mistreat the targeted group. Throughout these periods of injustice, there has always been people, real people, who stood up to those in power. They fought for freedom and justice. People like Dr. King, Malala, Gandhi, President Lincoln, Nelson Mandela, and Harriet Tubman. Well, these freedom fighters have lessons to teach us, lessons we can use in our everyday lives and in our everyday struggles. So freedom and justice have a lot to do with the way governments make laws. And laws should be balanced and applied to all in a fair and just way. Throughout this unit, you will learn about freedom and justice and how people who were denied them face these situations. There are 4 understandings that you should learn by the end of this unit. Firstly, you will understand that injustice is often instigated by groups in power, but it is supported by the silence of the citizens. And here, you should be asking yourself, how does your silence or actions impact the prejudice and injustice around you? Secondly, you will understand that injustice can be fueled by prejudices which are based on inaccurate or incomplete information about others. Here, you should be thinking about how does prejudice develop within a community. Thirdly, you will understand that ordinary citizens, even you, can make a societal difference. And here you should be thinking about the value of learning about injustice from the point of view of the person who actually experienced it. Lastly, we will explore literature that shows human struggles, exposes social flaws, and inspires social reform. This brings us to our assigned reading. The book is more of a memoir than a novel. It is an actual diary that was written by a young girl named Anne Frank. This means it's non-fiction. It's real, and it's the opposite of fiction. Specifically, Anne wrote in her diary every day, describing real situations that she experienced during World War II and the Holocaust. A memoir is a bit different than reading a novel, so here are 6 differences that you should note. First of all, a memoir is a little bit like an autobiography in the fact that it is historical non-fiction. Secondly, this will mean that this diary we are reading has real factual information and real events that actually took place during World War II. And this would be in the 1940s. You should also be aware that this book covers only about 2.5 years of her life. You You should also note that the times and the people and the places are all completely real. You should also be aware that you will not get the whole story of her life. In fact, this book will end in a very unsatisfying way. It will not have a resolution, and you will not get the feel of a traditional plot structure. So here's what your book looks like, and you're going to be taking it home in about 2 weeks, and you'll leave it at home and you'll read most of this book at home. Here's what else you can expect as you read this book. Expect lots of personal and family memories about Anne, and also expect a lot of historical facts about World War II, Hitler, and the mass killing of the Jewish people. You will also learn directly from Anne how she dealt with the war and how she dealt with the mistreatment of Jews. So, 7th graders, as we read this book, do not expect a full plot or chapters or a satisfying ending. Instead of a traditional plot, you can expect to learn some life lessons through Anne. Lots of drama, lots of excitement, lots of real life historical information about facing injustice. And to sum it all up, just remember, this unit is designed to allow you to explore what is fair versus what is unfair, what is just versus what is unjust, and how people grow and survive and thrive in those situations. Bye, 7th graders.